Welcome to Topic 2, where we will talk about the questioning and listening skills you need for successful benchmarking missions. When engaging in benchmarking, communication takes on a unique form, as it is aimed at obtaining clear and precise information from the NRA. To gather the necessary insights, you should actively ask questions and attentively listen to the responses. Initiating the conversation by requesting NRA staff members to provide a brief explanation on the topic sets the stage. During the initial phases, it is advisable to refrain from interrupting with excessive inquiries. Creating a positive atmosphere is essential, and this can be achieved through a friendly smile and acknowledging the commendable work. Allowing sufficient time for the NRA staff to organize their responses is also important. Let's now have a look at some do's and don'ts to keep in mind when asking questions. Always try to identify the right person to whom addressing your questions. The one who possesses the relevant knowledge in the area you are investigating. Ask one question at a time, to ensure clarity and focus, and give the assessee sufficient time to provide answers. Maintain impartiality throughout the process, not being biased by your own expectations. And keep the assessee informed about the progress of the exercise, clarifying the reason of your requests. On the other hand, avoid to only ask close-ended questions, because this would limit the response options and would not give the possibility to the assessee to provide comprehensive information. Refrain from asking trick questions that may confuse or mislead. It's also very important not to claim understanding when you don't fully comprehend the information. Better insisting a little to get clarified instead of jumping to conclusions without the appropriate supportive evidence. Avoid taking obtrusive notes that may lead to distraction or offense. And lastly, refrain from arguing or criticizing individuals, as this can create a negative atmosphere. Assessors and assessees may need interpreters when working in non-native languages. Use simple language and be prepared to rephrase questions. Listening is the other important activity that you, as an assessor, are requested to carry out during benchmarking. The better your listening skills, the more insights you will gain. For this reason, it is important to adopt critical listening. This involves investing significant cognitive effort to evaluate and judge the information being conveyed. It includes assessing strengths and weaknesses, as well as forming opinions about what is being said. On the other hand, biased listening should be avoided. This occurs when you have preconceived notions or references and only hear what you want to hear. Biased listening often leads to misinterpretations and can deteriorate trust and weaken communication. Let's recap a few important rules to keep in mind for an effective listening. Firstly, pay close attention to the speaker, showing that you are fully engaged and listen with empathy. Secondly, try to demonstrate your attentiveness through body language and facial expressions physically. Check for understanding from time to time by summarizing what has been said to avoid misinterpretations. Refrain from interrupting the assessee and allow them to express thoughts and ideas fully before providing your input. Finally, approach the conversation with honesty, openness, transparency, and respect. Speaking of openness and transparency, it is worth underlining that you are expected to communicate promptly to the assessee any possible issues or gaps that may arise, while also providing the NRA with an opportunity to explain, refine, adjust, or provide additional evidence. Throughout the benchmarking process, and not just in the end, you must share the underlying reasoning which is inducing you to categorize an observation as a gap. the evidence you are considering to support your conclusion, the severity of the identified gaps, and their possible impact on the overall score. To this end, it is advisable to allocate a few minutes each day to recap the major or pending issues with the NRA staff.